Today's live broadcast is about to start, and we're going to be taking a look at the new 2017 version of the Google Daydream View. And this is probably my first real look at some sort of VR experience. I've had a look at the PlayStation VR previously, and that works pretty well. And I didn't sort of like it too much because it seemed very sort of antisocial, and it wasn't really for me, and it's quite expensive to get into VR. Well, with the Google Daydream View, we've actually got the opportunity to get some sort of VR experience for a really attainable entry-level point. This is coming in at £99 in the UK, which I think is very, very fair. Okay, you do have to have a smartphone to go alongside the Daydream View, but if you've got a smartphone that's compatible, then it's well worth checking out. So this is the Daydream View. I will be completely honest with you, I have had this out of the box already because there was no point in me sitting here with the headset on saying wow, it looks fantastic, or explaining what the graphics look like whilst I was moving around everywhere. So I wanted to have a proper test of this, and used it for probably about 6 or 7 hours in total. So I'm going to unbox this very shortly. Before I do so, I'll just let you know that I'm going to be using this alongside the Pixel 2. If you watch my videos regularly, you'll have seen me do a video on this the other day. Let me just turn the brightness down on that. And my experience with this has been okay so far. I will be covering off some details about my experience the day after in another live broadcast very shortly, probably this morning or this afternoon. So this is what I'm going to be using with the Daydream View, and indeed what I tested it with yesterday. Also, before I unbox the Daydream View and give you my opinion, this case came in from Mobile Fun. I'll leave a link to their website in the video description. Mobile Fun do a whole range of cases from different manufacturers for loads of different smartphones. They very kindly sent me this in for the Pixel 2. It's an Elixir case. I'm not sure of the name of it, but it is just like a clear case. And I think it's a very, very simple solution. I just heard something move behind me there. That was strange. This is a very, very simple case. It's just like a flexible sort of silicone. I like cases like this. I don't like anything too bulky. I also like the fact that you can still see the design of the smartphone through it. Everything fits really nicely on the Pixel 2 of this case. It just gives it a little bit more grip and obviously a little bit of protection. Not too much shock protection on this case, but it certainly looks the part. And of course I can still see the design and the fact I've gone for the all black version. So I like clear cases. So do check out Mobile Fun. Now, on to the Daydream View. Before I unbox this, a big, big thank you to everyone who's tuned in. Hello to Aaron, Peter, Chris and Handy Lou. Thank you very much. David Hepworth has asked, how are you getting on with the Pixel 2? I'll be covering that in a separate live broadcast after this one, either directly after or a little bit later on today. So the new Google Daydream View, the new version for 2017, it says here on the side, requires a Daydream ready phone. So this will work with a Pixel, Pixel XL, Pixel 2, Pixel 2 XL and other manufacturers' phones as well. On this side here it pictures the remote, and then it says here, dream with your eyes open. So this promises to be a really good experience. Two little pull tabs either side. If you've only just tuned in, I have unboxed this previously, so I'm just purely doing this just to show you what you get inside the box. So it sort of comes presented like this. I have removed some of the plastic already. This is how it comes sort of presented. It's available in 3 different colours. There's a lighter grey version, this dark grey, I think it's called charcoal, and then there's a terracotta type, pinky, sort of peachy coloured version as well. So this is the actual headset itself. We'll take a closer look at that in a short while. You also get a little pack in here with some information in it. I'm not going to open that, but that's got some extra info inside. And then you also get up the top here, this is like the handheld remote. This is quite good. I was really pleased with how this remote actually performs. So this is like a handheld remote, and while you've got the headset on, you can move this around. A little bit like a Wii controller, connects via Bluetooth to the smartphone. It's got 3 buttons on it, and also 3 buttons on the front, and also a little LED light here. This button here is like a power button and a recentering button, and then we've got another action button here, and then we've got a touchpad which also acts as a button, so you can touch this or move your thumb across it. And then round on this side we've got volume up and down, so whilst you've got your phone in the Daydream view, you can turn the volume up and down without having to remove your smartphone, because that wouldn't be ideal. So that's you really do need the volume on the side of this. And the headset itself has got this adjustable strap on the back. This top one adjusts and the 2 side ones, and you adjust those so that you get a nice comfortable fit. Inside we've got the 2 lenses, and this is nicely padded as well, really nice and comfortable to wear. And the thing I like about this one compared to other VR headsets is, alright, you're not getting all the bells and whistles with this, and it's relying on your smartphone for the experience, but it is a lot lighter. I found other VR headsets to be very, very heavy. And then we've got this front flap. The front flap has got this sort of holes all the way through the front, and that's to aid with heat dissipation with your phone. Now, I used it on one occasion yesterday for about an hour and a half without turning the phone off. The phone got very slightly warm, but I think that did a good job of dissipating the heat. And then there's this like little pull tab here which has got elastic on it, and that allows you to move this flap down. And then you put your smartphone in. I'm pretty sure it doesn't matter which way up, so you just simply put the smartphone onto the front flap. You will have to unlock it first. Let me just unlock it for the sake of showing you the procedure you go through. And then you simply close this, and when you actually put it on this front flap, if I can just show you that, it actually comes up with pairing, so it starts pairing with the remote. You have to press and hold the button here to actually pair. Same, try again. Let's do that again. So press and hold, and then it pairs with the controller. You have to do that each time you use this, and then once it's paired, then it's ready to go. So you tap continue, and then you can actually put this into the headset like so, and that's the phone in. And then you pop the headset on, and you can wear glasses. On the first attempt, I didn't use my glasses on this, and it was very blurred, so it proved I needed glasses, because even though the phone's quite close up, it's as though you're viewing things at a distance. So we pop this on like so, and then I've got this view inside, and I can pick up the controller and I can start my experience. And the view is really good inside. I'm not going to wear this for the whole video, but what you're seeing basically is a expansive view with a really nice user interface, and you can use this to point at various things and click on things. You can also swipe for different experiences, and there's sort of some really good demonstration games and worlds that you can walk around and experience. And you can sort of there's one where there's a boat in the sea, and then you're pulling the palm tree and flicking the coconuts into the boat. You can also go into like a YouTube experience and experience VR videos. It's nice and comfortable, fits really nicely, so it's not heavy at all, and I think it's just a really good option for a VR experience. Now, I went through some of the demonstrations, these various worlds where you could touch things, flick things, interact with what you're looking at, and they were really good, really nice and sort of entertaining. And I also watched some YouTube VR video on here as well. There was one with the Blue Angels, and being able to look around while the aircraft was taking off and flying, and there were other aircraft doing sort of acrobatics around it, was a really good experience. There are some issues. Let me just wipe my glasses. I've got something on my glasses there. There's some dust come off of something inside the headset. But what was I saying? Okay, there are some problems. There are a few problems. Let me just remove my smartphone, and we will go back to the home screen on that. So that was my testing was done with the Pixel 2. just to give you an idea of what I'm going to say next, because it might not be quite the same experience with other smartphones, because they're going to have different screens and different screen resolutions. For the most part, the experience was really good, but after that initial sort of testing and use, would I be tempted to then pick this up and use it again? And the answer is maybe on occasion, but certainly not regularly. And the issue I had was that, first of all, things seemed blurred off axis. So when you were moving around, if you looked without moving your head, then you got this sort of out of focus area, which was quite troubling to me, really. It wasn't very enjoyable. And when you actually focused in on something, you could definitely see a cross-hatching. You could see like the how the screen was made up, put it that way, because there's definitely no cross-hatching on the lenses in here, so this is like magnifying the screen, and you could definitely see the structure of the screen, and that was quite off-putting. It sort of disappeared a bit more when you were watching a video, because I suppose you were more engrossed on what was happening, but something with graphics on, where you were interacting with the environment, you could definitely see that cross-hatching pattern. The audio obviously comes out of the speakers of your smartphone, so being front-facing on the Pixel 2 was quite a good thing. It sounded really good, nice and immersive. So that's my initial sort of experience with it. I'll come on to it a bit later as to whether I could recommend you actually buying one of these. But before I do so, let's dive into the chat and see what questions we have got. So we've got lots of good mornings. Hello to everyone. I really do appreciate you all tuning in. We've got Damian tuned in, David Hepworth, and also Ryan Darcy. Thank you all for tuning into the live broadcast. Handy Lou says, hi Dave, is Google Daydream better than the Samsung Galaxy? The Samsung Galaxy VR, I did test briefly the previous version, and it's very similar. The thing I like about this one is I think they've done a really good job with the controller. The recentering and the little pointers, very crisp in the display, so when you're clicking on things, I just think it works very, very well. It's also a nice feeling controller as well, and I also think that this is a bit more comfortable to wear, not just because of the weight, but I think just because of the material used on the outside, and the Samsung offering is like quite hard plastic. This just feels a little bit more softer, a little bit more user friendly. That's not to say the Samsung experience is uncomfortable, but I just think that this is a better design overall. And I think Google have done a really good job on designing this and giving you some colour options as well. So let's have a look back at the chat again. I will just mention to you all, I do this in every live broadcast. I know Dave changed the record. If you do want to use the super chat, it helps support the channel, but I do answer as many questions as I can because I really value all of the questions I get in the chat. And I also do have a GoFundMe page set up. This is like a fund for extra devices to come into the studio. I can't buy them all. I don't have the funds to buy them all. So if you do want to support, the thing that I give you back is extra content. I also give you a shout out in a future video for one of those two devices. And I'm really struggling with when the iPhone 10 pre-sales or pre-orders go online on the 27th of this month, as to whether I can actually justify getting one in when it's highly unlikely. I'm not saying it's impossible, but it's highly unlikely it will become my daily driver, because I'm really making this switch to Android. Will it be the Pixel 2? I'll talk about that in the next live broadcast. Will it be the Pixel 2 XL? That's due in on the 15th of next month. Getting it a little bit later here in the UK. My Denv06 says, what is Super Chat? Where you're putting your chats in, assuming you're not on an iOS device, if you're on either an Android device or a computer, next to the chat where you type in, where it says say something, just underneath there's a $sign. If you click that $sign, you can actually make a contribution to the channel, and not only does that help support me, it also highlights your comment or question and it brings it to my attention. And it's purely optional, but it is there for if you do want to support your favourite creators. So moving back to whether I can actually recommend this experience. I really think that with this, with the Google Daydream View, almost forgot to say the word view there, but with the Google Daydream View, they should just call it Google Daydream. Why not? Make it a bit shorter and snappier. But with this particular product, I think the real selling point with it is the price point. £99 has gone up from the previous version. I think the previous one was £69, or it might have been £79. If they could bring this down by another £10 or £20, that would be ideal. But at 99, it's under the £100 mark. I think it's the same price in America. I think it's $99. And for that price, it's attainable. It's a reasonable investment, but it's not too expensive in comparison to some of the technology that we invest in nowadays. And for that price, I think it's worth taking a risk on. Saying that, I probably wouldn't pick this up. This is just me personally, my use case scenario, and I've got two older children, aged 18 and 20, and also my wife and a few friends in my sort of friend circle. I think it probably would get used maybe once a week, maybe for an hour on a Saturday or Sunday. Probably I personally wouldn't pick it up throughout the week. That's not to say the experience wasn't good, but I say that the experience isn't something that I really yearn for. It's not something that I really want to experience day in, day out. But the occasional look at a new app or a new experience on here, so as new apps come out or a new video, then definitely worth a try. I even looked at one of my videos that I recorded about a year and a half ago, where I had a Samsung Gear 360 camera, and I took it in the car and did like a drive around, and that was really cool because it was something I'd recorded as well. It was really different to actually be able to move around and actually see myself driving, sort of look round back from the passenger seat to look at me driving around, and obviously look at the viewpoint out of the car windscreen as well. So I think the video aspect of it, actually for me, the VR 360 videos is probably more of a draw to this device than the actual games and these virtual worlds. And the fact, I know that you can, on your smartphone or your tablet, you can look at the 360 videos on YouTube anyway and sort of move the phone around, or you can swipe it around, but it's not quite the same as having it sort of attached to the VR headset and then moving your head around. It's very different experience. So great build quality, really nice finish to it, good price point, although a little bit cheaper would probably tempt more people, and occasional use, I can see this being a really good seller. So anyway, thank you all for tuning in. Thank you all for your comments and questions as well. As I mentioned earlier, I will be doing another live broadcast about the Google Pixel 2 today. There are some good things and some bad things, so do tune into that. Thank you very much for watching. Hit that like button, and I'll see you in another video very soon.